Hey, in this video I want to introduce you to coroutines. Coroutines are a pretty powerful feature in C#, and they're provided in the context we're working in by Unity, and they provide a way to do some sort of concurrent programming. That is, we can set up code that's going to run at the same time as other code. This is similar to multi-threading in a way, but it's not. Coroutines are still run on a single thread. They're not true parallel programming, but they're very close and they're very useful because you can set up sequences for the computer to follow. So I'm in Visual Studio. I'm in my tank battle project, and I'm looking at this script that has been using invoke repeating. This is my enemy spawner, so that it creates an enemy after 3 seconds, and then it keeps creating enemies every 5 seconds after that. And I want to replace this with coroutines. It'll make it much more flexible when I want to make changes later, or if I wanted more control over the pattern of how they're generated. So I want to recreate what this is doing right now. Spawn object is just instantiating, so I can call that function whenever I want to create an object. And then invoke repeating is setting up spawn object to be called with this delay and with this interval. So let me make a coroutine. So a coroutine starts off with the return type IEnumerator. Make sure that you do not use IEnumerable. That's something totally different. IEnumerator. So this is something that can sort of take steps through a sequence. Alright, I'll give my coroutine a name, like start spawning. Alright, and so coroutines they have to return something, IEnumerator, and you usually don't create one yourself. You rely on special functions to do it, and use a special keyword in order to yield the instruction so that you can wait for next time. So you can think of it as you might set up a bunch of coroutines and they are yielding to each other, letting the other one go and then letting the other one go, and taking turns letting the other one do its processing. So yield, return, new, wait for seconds. So I'm going to use wait for seconds, but Unity provides a bunch of other things that you can use here. Wait for end of frame, wait for fixed update, wait for seconds, real time, and there's some other ones too. But this is the most used. New wait for seconds, and I specify how many seconds. Let's say 3 seconds. And then after I've waited for 3 seconds, it'll come back to this function. And I want to spawn object. Alright, now I want to wait another 5 seconds. Yield, return, new, wait for seconds. 5 seconds. And spawn another object. So now I could go and specify the rest of this sequence, but I'm going to put this in a loop so that it just keeps repeating, sort of like invoke repeating did. Alright, so start spawning is going to wait for 3 seconds, spawn an object, and then it's going to wait for 5 seconds, spawn an object, and keep repeatedly doing that. So it's the exact same thing as my invoke repeating call. The only difference so far is that I've hard-coded these values, 3 and 5, but that's not that bad. Let's say delay and interval. So I can parameterize those. Delay, interval, great. So now when I want to call it, I want to call start coroutine. In start coroutine, I need to call that function, start spawning, and give it the delay, give it the interval, and when this function is called for the first time, it's going to run up until it gets to the first yield statement, and then it's going to wait for that many seconds, and then it's going to continue on. And that's why it needs to actually be called here, so it'll evaluate to an IEnumerator, and that will be passed to the start coroutine function. So this is a function built into Unity in order to do this sort of thing. So that's what a simple coroutine looks like. Let's make sure that it's working. Let me go back to my project. It's built. Alright, so I should get an enemy that pops up here after 3 seconds, and then the next one after 5 seconds. Okay, next one after another 5. Okay, looks pretty good. Alright, so that's a little introduction to coroutines. I hope you can see the utility, the power behind them, where we can set up all sorts of sequences, animations and paths and everything, making decisions after a certain amount of time. Lots of fun with these. See ya.